Alright guys, so this is the second video for section 12.6. So if you haven't watched the first video, please do that first, because this may not make much sense. Alright, so now we're going to get to binomial distributions, which is kind of the big deal of this section. Okay, so a binomial distribution shows the probabilities of the outcome of a binomial experiment. Okay, and a binomial experiment is an experiment that meets the following criteria. Okay, so one, there are n, so a certain number of independent trials. Okay, so that's the first stipulation. Second stipulation is each trial has only two possible outcomes. And we will call those outcomes successes and failures. So it's either yes or it's no. It's win or it's lose. It's up or it's down. Okay. And then third, the probability of success is the same for each trial. This is denoted by P. Okay, so P is the probability of a success. And therefore, the probability of failure is just 1 minus P. So if our success rate is 75%, our failure rate is 1 minus 75% or 25%. That's all that's saying. All right, so here's the formula that goes along with it. And it's right down here. And this looks long and scary, but it's not that bad. Okay, so this is the total number. And this is the K is the number of successes. P is the probability of success. 1 minus P is the probability of failure. Okay, so that addresses all of the variables in that thing. All right, so let's look at an example here. Okay, it says according to a survey, about 33% of people, so here's our probability right here, 33% of people age 16 and older in the US own an electronic book reading device or e-reader. You ask 6. Okay, so 6 is the number of total participants asked. So 6 is going to be our N. Randomly chosen people ages 16 and older, whether they own an e-reader. So our success would be they own an e-reader. We want to draw a histogram of the binomial distribution for this survey. All right, well, just to go back to the formula right here, it is N choose K, P to the K, 1 minus P to the N minus K. Okay, and we're going to do that for K numbers 0 through 6. So we can have 0 people chosen have an e-reader, or we could have all 6. So I'm going to do that formula for each one of those scenarios. So the first one would be 6 choose 0. Okay, P is my probability, so 0.33. 0.33 to the K, well in this scenario, K is our 0. 1 minus P to the N minus K, or 6 minus 0. Okay, and then I'm going to do my next one up. Okay, so 6 choose 1 now, times 0.33 to the 1, 1 minus P to the 6 minus 1. Okay, the next 6 choose 2 times 0.33. Now our k is 2. 1 minus p to the 6 minus 2 power. Okay, or 6 choose 3 times 0.33 cubed, 1 minus p to the 6 minus 3 power. We could do 4, so 6 choose 4 times 0.33 to the 4th, 1 minus p to the 6 minus 4. 2 more. 6 choose 5 times 0.33 to the 5th, 1 minus p to the 6 minus 5. Last but not least, 6 choose 6 times 0.33 to the 6th, 1 minus p to the 6 minus 6. Okay, now I'm just going to take all these and I'm going to throw them into my calculator. All right, so when I do that, I should get these decimals. So these are probabilities, okay? And these are also rounded. So theoretically speaking, they all should add up to 1, but because of rounding, it may be like 0.99 or 1.01 or something. But this is the probabilities that I get when I plug each of these into our calculator. Okay, now I'm going to use these numbers to draw a histogram. Okay, so I have 0 through 6. I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so my probability of 0 people having an e-reader is very minute. It's 0.09. I guess that's not too minute. The probability of 1 person having an e-reader is almost triple that, and it's 0.267. The probability of 3 having it is even more than that. Oh, sorry, of 2 having it is even more than that, and that's 0.329. And then we're back down. 3 people having it, we're back down to 0.216. 4 people having it, we're 0.080. 5 people having it, we're even less than that. We're at 0.016, and then 6 people having it, we're like down here at the very bottom, 0.001. So there would be my histogram. All right, so let's use that histogram and answer some of these questions, okay? So I just copied and pasted the same histogram that I had here, okay, just so I don't have to go back and forth. So A says, what is the most likely outcome of the survey? Well, our most likely outcome is that, where are we? Right here. Right? That's the highest probability. So our most likely outcome is 2 out of the 6 surveyed has an e-reader. Okay, don't just say 2. 2 what? Understand what you're doing. All right, and then B says, what is the probability that at most 2 people have an e-reader? Okay, so this is just 2 or less, or in other words, it's 0 or 1 or 2. So go back to our formulas. I can say the probability of 0 or 1 or 2 is just the probability of 0 plus the probability of 1 plus the probability of 2. Okay, and the probability of 0 is 0.09 plus probability of 1 is 0.267. And the probability of 2 is 0.329. And if I put those into my calculator and I add them all up, I get 0.686. All right, so let's look at this example right here. All right, it says, according to the survey, 85% of people age 18 and older in the U.S. use either internet or email. We ask, here's another number, 4 randomly chosen people whether they use internet or email. All right, so this 85%, this is our P, or our probability. This 4 is the total number of people surveyed, so this is our N. And once again, we're going to use the equation N choose K times P to the K times 1 minus P to the N minus K. And we're going to do that for K all the way from 0 to 4. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to let you work this out, figure out the numbers, and then we'll go over them. All right, so these are the numbers you should have gotten. So go ahead and check those. And if you didn't get that one, make sure your formula is correct. If it is, make sure you plugged it into your calculator correct. Okay, and now that we have the correct numbers, go ahead and draw a histogram of this data. All right, and your histogram should have looked like this. All right, now once again, I've gone and I've copied the histogram here. And so part B says, what is the most likely outcome of our survey? Well, clearly, this is the most likely outcome. So 4 out of the 4 use email or internet. And it says, what is the probability that at most, so this would be the probability of 0 or 1 or 2, which is the probability of 0, plus the probability of 1, plus the probability of 2. Probability of 0 is very small. 0.0005 plus 0.0115 plus 0.0975. And if we add all that up, we'd get 0.1095, or about 11%. Okay, so know the formula, use it, plug it into your calculator, the rest is easy.